out 39,892 without any money management. Now applying a 2% money management strategy, so increasing at 2% on our trades, we'll just go to the bottom here. The system produced $70,000 worth of profit, so it's almost doubled its account size using a 3% money management increase in position size. Now, had we have gone more aggressive on our trade management, it had a 5%. Had we applied a 5% money management strategy, then we would have pulled in 224,473. Now, the thing with that strategy is that had we have started with that, we potentially would have got close to or exceeding our max drawdown. So that 50% of our account equity was sustained fairly quickly with a 5% risk profile. Now, we'll just go along here for a second, and what we've done is we've applied what we call a fixed ratio strategy to our money management. So rather than trading, increasing our contract size or making our standard lot size based on a percentage of our risk, so 2%, we're using what we call a delta of 1,500. So that means that when we get our first $1,500 worth of equity in our account, and I'll show you the ratio of how you do that. Let me just bring up the Russell here for a second, and I'll show you the table of the fixed ratio. So this is it here. It's a little bit hard to see, so I'll just bring this size up a little bit more. The fixed ratio works on the principle that when we're trading, we typically, if we use what we call an anti-martingale approach, so that means that we're increasing contract sizes as we increase profit. So rather than the other way around, where we're anti-martingale rather than martingale, where we increase percentage risk or contract size when we have a losing trade, this strategy works on the premise that as we start to develop profit in our account, or we increase our contract size, we start to increase the number of contracts we're trading. So this is using a delta, what we call a delta of $2,500, and what that means is that for the initial $2,500 we're trading, and we'll just move this up a little bit, so we're trading 2 contracts, and then once we go to 17,500, we're on to 3 contracts. So what that helps us to do is it helps us to basically take care of what we call geometric growth. So if we get a trading system that starts to go through a winning run, so something that's producing exceptionally good profit during a winning run, and systems typically go through winning run and losing runs, and when they go through a winning run, you want to be able to capitalize on that and not have to wait for the account to double before you actually start to trade another contract. So the idea there is to use your profit that you've gained in your account to start to increase your contract size rather than waiting, because the fixed ratio or the fixed fraction approach, which is the percentage per trade, takes care of the risk when you first start trading. So it helps you to maintain your risk profile, keeps your risk in check because you're trading only 2% of your account, but it does absolutely nothing to increase the growth of your account exponentially. So by having what we call a delta or a fixed ratio approach, that helps you to increase your account size, it helps to take care of that geometric growth, and it helps to build your account when your account should be being built, as in when it's having winning trades. Now, there is a caveat to that, and that is that if you do this incorrectly, you can go up as quick as you can go back. So there are ways in which you can put a handbrake on this. So if your system goes through a drawdown period, which all systems do, and they start to have a losing run, what you want to do then is you want to kick in a strategy to reduce your exposure in the market and lock in that profit, and that's what we call a rate of decrease. So in any money management strategy you want to have what we call a rate of increase table, which is the way in which you increase your contract size, and then you would have a rate of decrease to protect the profit that you've got. So if you think that your system or strategy is going through a potential drawdown and it's not behaving as it normally would, and it's starting to exceed what we call normal trading as far as your approach to your system, and you can see that by the data that you collect. So you'll go through your chart, your data that you've collected historically, and you can see where a system goes through starts to hit a losing run, and you can put what you call the way you can do this is you can work your maximum losing trade, and that might be say $470. If you hit your maximum losing trade over say 3 trades, then you can drop your contract sizes down. There's probably about 4 or 5 ways you can do it, but there's ways in which you can tell when a system is starting to go through an adverse run. And basically what you're waiting for then is you're waiting for it to then kick back into this run here, and that's when we capitalize on our ability to make profit. And then again, when we've got a flag or an alert that our system is starting to hit an adverse run, we can then apply a rate of decrease. It doesn't go too bad through here, but you'll see as we go through, actually gets pretty consistent. We have a little bit of a speed hump there, but here see how we have this cluster of losers, and this is a reality of trading systems. And I think Dimitri, you asked me on Friday, is that normal? Yeah, definitely. I'll show you the DAX data. It was uglier than this. So what you've got to do is you've got to have a strategy in place for making sure that you don't give too much back with this, particularly if you're trading a large account. If you're trading an account that has a substantial investment in the market, then you need to be aggressive in relation to your protection. But I'll talk about that in a second. So one of the things that happens to us when we trade is that when we use strategies, money management strategies, to increase the growth of our account, we've got to be careful on 2 fronts. One is that we manage like I said, the rate of decrease. So during this period, if we've collected aggressively, or not aggressively, but we've applied good money management and increased our contract size and our profit exponentially, we don't want to hit this period and give a good quarter or half of that back, which can happen. So if you don't decrease your contract size quickly enough, this rate of drawdown can really erode your profit. Now, there's an example I've got, a live example I've got with one of the students I was coaching. We spent a fair bit of time developing up a rate of increase table, talked about a rate of decrease table, and he started trading and getting into the market, and got into a time where the market was running really well. There was a bit of volatility, and he doubled his account in 5 days using this strategy. Now, what happened was, though, over the next 2 weeks after that initial 5-day run, the market suddenly hit a bit of a drawdown, and because he didn't apply the rate of decrease, he gave about 80% of the profit he made over those first 5 days back. So he rang me and he said, "Oh, look, I've done really well. First 5 days, I absolutely, I was on fire. Nothing could go wrong. I've used the fixed ratio method, but I forgot to apply the rate of decrease, and but obviously with a little bit of tweaking, we were able to sort that out. But that's one of the things you've got to do. You've got to make sure that if you use any type of money management strategy, that you've definitely got a rate of decrease. Now, what it does, unfortunately, is that while you can take advantage of the rate of increase and increase your the growth of your account exponentially and have that compounding effect, the rate of decrease will actually work on what we call asymmetrical leverage, which is it's reducing your ability to make that profit back. So what it'll do is it'll hamper your ability to get back to where you were at your equity high. So that's the disadvantage, but ultimately the goal is is capital preservation. So we need to make sure that we maintain that. Now we'll go back to this. I'll show you the DAX result. Now this is Peter's. This is Pete's. One of my students' graphs. So I've used his because it's a very good visual look at exactly what happened during our. And he's come up with an excellent strategy for reducing that drawdown. So you can see the drawdown there was below 50%. He was able to get that significantly better down to around about 32%. But here's a money management strategy that uses the fixed ratio. Now remember that on a standard lot size, the end result was around about, well, I think it was about 70,000. He was using the fixed ratio. That's gone to about 404. So you can see the impact that position sizing and money management has on your account, and that's really why, if you want to optimize your system and get the greatest result from trading in your strategy, it's nothing to do with really. Obviously we need to have a positive expectancy, so we need to know that our system will work over time successfully. But that's all we need to know, because once we know that we've got a system that has a positive expectancy that will give us more money than we lose, then we can use strategies like this to exponentially grow our account. And this is where the value is in trading. It's not really in being right in the market all the time. It's being able to apply excellent money management and during the process of trading, pyramiding, building on your profit to be able to capitalize on what you're doing. Because if you spend more time on developing this part of your business up, and obviously you've got to make sure that your execution's good, that you don't have too much slippage, that we look at having that diversification. But the key to getting the edge in the market is definitely the position sizing and money management, and it's become quite apparent to us over the last 8 or 9 years that the more time we spend here and work on this part of our trading business, the better the results we get over time. So one lot worth on the chart you're showing, Karen, one lot is worth that. The first chart I showed you, so this is the DAX chart, that $25 per point on the DAX, so euro per point, but on the Russell, which is this one here, it's $10 per point from memory. I haven't traded it for that long, but I'm pretty sure it's $10 per point on the Russell. It's been about 2 years, I think, since I traded that, but you can see there that even with the Russell bringing in 32, if we using our money management strategy, that $10,000 has grown to 192. So excellent money management on that account as well. And the exercise we've got now is to combine these, and really with your trading, that's what you're looking to do. You're looking to basically work out ways in which you can get the best result possible from the effort that you're putting in. So that's why we're talking also about. That's why we're also talking about having multiple markets, because when we traded the DAX, we hit our maximum contract size pretty quickly, or not quickly, but towards the end of September. So we went through a fairly significant drawdown in September, and we talk about having a few losers in this room. Have a look at this for a drawdown. So that wasn't too bad. We went through a 333 point drawdown on this market. There it is there. 213, 260. It was more than that. I think it started back here. It was about